Before we get into methods, materials and shelf lives, subscribe to The Prepper Historian and share this with someone who takes preparedness seriously. This channel is about learning from the past in ways that actually strengthen the present. Long-term food storage is not a modern trend born from internet anxiety. It is one of the oldest survival disciplines in human history. Every civilization that endured famine, siege, migration or collapse did so because it mastered preservation. Those that failed vanished. If you care about history, then food storage is not a hobby. It is applied historical knowledge. Today, we are going to strip this topic down to fundamentals that sustained Roman legions, medieval towns under siege, frontier homesteaders, and polar explorers. This is about durability, calories, and systems that work. Food storage has always been about surviving predictable instability. History shows that food crises rarely arrive as total surprises. Drought cycles, failed harvests, war blockades, and economic collapse tend to build over time. The ancient Egyptians stored grain during years of abundance along the Nile because they understood agricultural cycles. Medieval monasteries maintained granaries because they expected bad harvests. The practical lesson is this: store when supply is stable and prices are low, not when panic begins. For a modern prepper, that means building a rotating pantry now. Start by calculating your household's monthly calorie needs. An average adult requires roughly 2,000 to 2,500 calories per day, depending on workload. Multiply that by the number of people and by your target storage window, whether that is 3 months, 6 months, or a year. This is the foundation. Without calorie math, storage is guesswork. Grains and legumes, form the backbone of every successful long-term storage system. Across cultures, the core of survival has almost always been dry staples. Wheat, rice, barley, oats, lentils, beans and peas dominate historical storage records for one reason. They are calorie-dense, store well when dry, and, provide a base for varied meals. Roman soldiers marched on grain rations. Medieval households stored sacks of barley and rye. Even 19th-century pioneers crossing North America carried flour-dried beans and rice. To apply this today, focus first on white rice, hard wheat berries, dried beans and lentils. Stored in food-grade buckets with mylar liners and oxygen absorbers, these foods can last decades when kept cool and dry. Temperature is, absolutely critical. For every 10 degrees Celsius increase, shelf life drops significantly. So aim for storage below 21 degrees Celsius if possible. Basements or interior rooms without sunlight are ideal. If you want to build a 6-month grain reserve for a family of 4, calculate roughly 25 to 30 kilograms of grain per adult per month as a starting point, just adjusting for diet. Label every container with packing date and estimated shelf life. Rotate what you open. This is not a museum archive. It is a working reserve. Preservation methods from the past still outperform many modern shortcuts. Canning, drying, fermenting, salting and smoking are not rustic hobbies. They are proven survival systems. During sieges in medieval Europe, salted meat and dried fish kept cities alive. So, if you store low-acid foods such as meats and vegetables, you really ought to learn pressure canning. Botulism is not just a theoretical concern, it's quite real. That's why proper pressure and timing truly matter. Now, for fruits, jams and other high-acid foods, water bath canning works well. Dehydration, you know, is equally powerful. Dried apples, jerky and dried vegetables all reduce moisture, which is the enemy of shelf life. Protein and fat are, honestly, where most modern preppers tend to underestimate risk. Grains, well, those are easy enough, but protein and fat require a bit more planning. Historically, societies have relied on livestock, hunting, fishing, and various preservation techniques to secure these nutrients. Fat, in particular, is especially critical in high-stress situations because it's so calorie-dense. Storage without rotation is just delayed waste. The downfall of many storage plans is, well, neglect. Historically, granaries were inspected and monitored. Infestation, moisture and spoilage were constant threats. The same applies now. Water, fuel and preparation capacity really complete the system. Stored food is honestly useless without water and a way to cook it. Historically, control of wells determined survival in sieges. Today, store potable water and maintain filtration capability. Plan at least 4 litres per person per day for drinking and minimal hygiene. Multiply that by your storage timeline. Long-term storage is a discipline, not a reaction. The civilizations that endured were disciplined. They measured, preserved, rotated, and protected their stores. They did not rely on optimism, they relied on systems. Start with calorie math. Build a grain base. Add preserved protein and fat. Control temperature and moisture. Rotate everything. Test your water and fuel plans. If you take history seriously, apply it. Subscribe to The Prepper Historian for more deep dives that turn historical knowledge into practical strength. And share this with someone who understands that preparedness is not fear. It is continuity.